Part of America's story lies in the names she has given to her land. The rivers, creeks, mountains, mining camps, villages, whistle stops. There's a poetry here, the poetry of a people who, before they picked up their rifles, covered their fires, and moved on, somehow had to give a name to the land they stopped on, the site they camped on. Some of the names look to the past, some to the future. Some were built of dreams, but each name has a story. Follow the men with the long rifles, from Angel's Camp and Archer's Hope to Beaver Pond and Fiddletown. Watch the fires spring up on Quack Hill and Robber's Roost, Chicken Thief Flats, Utopia. They're pulling out from Bachelor's Hope, Anthony's Nose, Birth Creek, and Dragon Rocks. Wagons rolling on from Broken Top and Battle Mountain, Poverty Hill, and Hungry Camp. Americans moving on from Shirt-Tail Canyon and Dreaming Creek, picking up their rifles, covering their fires, forging the American landscape, and vanishing. The wagons are gone, the footprints have disappeared, only the names remain.
Thursday, January 18th, 1906. Coney Island, Brooklyn. We're at an area called Seagate near Norton's Point in the Coney Island Lighthouse. Guglielmo Marconi has recently set up a wireless telegraphy station here. The team is about to send their first telegraph to Captain Hayes of the Majestic, the White Star ocean liner. Outside is a 150-foot tall mast. Wires connect from its top to the control room. Its receiving apparatus can handle incoming messages from any distance. This station formed the final link in Marconi's chain, connecting all Atlantic liners with the shore up to 70 hours away at sea. The call letters are SE. A 10-word message from an American ship costs $1. Foreign ships, 40 cents extra. By 1906, this 4-mile-long, half-mile-wide peninsula on the southwestern end of Long Island was home to private resorts called the Brighton and Manhattan Beach, to amusement parks called Steeplechase, Luna, and Dreamland, and to numerous restaurants, bathhouses, independent amusements, a racetrack, and collections of objects, people, and creatures unseen together anywhere else in the modern world. From the point of Coney's development in the last half of the 19th century, the eastern part had been the most expensive. The west was the cheapest and most dangerous. But the area was rapidly changing, thanks in part to Coney Island. The world was getting smaller. The resort era was coming to an end. The following year, gambling was outlawed, and soon upper-class regality gave way to working-class pandemonium. The Marconi Company operated this station at Seagate until World War I, when the U.S. Navy gained control of all American Marconi outposts. A decade after World War I, wireless telegraphy had become radio broadcasting. Movies, public transportation, and the automobile helped change Coney Island's demographic. A nickel now brought you here from anywhere in New York City. On blistering summer days, upwards of 1 million people could be found sea bathing, eating new and old delicacies, and at night, staring up in wonder at what the newspapers labeled the Electric City. The entire world knew Coney. The radio soon followed.
I don't know if I understand it. I started back in the days when Guglielmo Marconi started, I think. Now, I've been in it a long time. This is, how many years, man? Over 50 years. And it goes back to the days when I first started, and everybody says, how did you ever get into radio?
How did you ever get into radio?
I forgot. I got in, and I guess I was going to school at the time, and if any of you know New York City, there is a bedroom called Brooklyn, where we lived. And there is an additional place called Coney Island. And a friend of mine were walking on the boardwalk, a friend of myself, walking on the boardwalk in Coney Island when we got to the Half Moon Hotel. And on the floor, on the basement floor, there were a couple of stores. And one of them had the letters WCGU. And I said to this friend of mine, what do you suppose that is? He said, I think it's a radio station. I said, oh? And at that point, a guy came running out and said, can anybody here do anything? And this fellow pointed to me and he says, he plays piano. And he grabbed me, threw me into this studio, which looked like a house of ill repute. It had velvet drapes all around, a solitary piano, and there was a microphone on a stand, and this was known as a carbon mic, a big round mic, and the actual mic itself was suspended on rubber bands. And the man came up to the mic, tapped it to get the carbons all settled, and said, ladies and gentlemen, we now present that distinguished concert pianist, Mr. Paul Hart. And I looked around and said, who the hell's he talking about, you know? He said, what are you going to play? I said, well, I'm going to play Dizzy Fingers, and It Had to Be You, and a few other jazzy things. And he said, wait a minute, you've got to play something classical. I said, oh, I'll play the Minute Waltz by Chopin, a little Bach fugue, and a Beethoven sonata. Mr. Hart opens his programs today with...
Oh, when the sun beats down and burns the tar up on the roof, and your shoes get so hot, you wish your tired feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah, on a blanket with my baby's where I'll be.
Welcome to Breaking Walls, episode 92. My name is James Scully. Today on Breaking Walls, we say hello to summer with a trip to Coney Island. Many a baptism, both religious and social, has taken place in these waters. For 8 generations, Coney has been a place of budding romance, unbridled fun, sex, drugs, and some of the highest highs and lowest lows. The smells have been salt water, hot dogs, cigars, and alcohol. The sounds have been amusements, carnival barkers, screams, laughter, seagull cries, and transistor radios. Coney Island is part of the American lexicon, and much of its 20th century arc mirrors that of the radio. Both attracted crowds in numbers unseen or heard before. And both went from boom to bust after World War II as Americans, backed by the GI Bill, moved out to their suburban homes on highway roads driving new cars, where they watched new television sets. If this is your first time listening to Breaking Walls, welcome to the show. You can find this series on every podcasting platform and at thewallbreakers.com. Tonight's opening theme song was blasted from many a radio at Coney Island. It's Under the Boardwalk by the Drifters, a Cashbox #1 hit in the summer of 1964. If you're on Facebook, join our Wallbreakers Facebook group to keep in touch with news like Burning Gotham, our completely original audio drama series In Development. It will be set in 1830s New York City and debut later this year. Listen to the teaser at thewallbreakers.com. You can also support these shows for as little as $1 per month at patreon.com/thewallbreakers.
We'll be falling in love under the boardwalk, boardwalk.
The man who got his radio start at Coney Island was famed announcer Andre Baruch.
When he got finished, he said, you want a job? I said, doing what? He said, playing piano. I said, well, I go to school, you know, I go to college, and I just can't take time off. He said, well, we don't start here till about 4 o'clock. If you come in here and play, say, at 3:30, 4 o'clock on, he said, we'll give you $25 a week. Well, in 1929 or 28, with 29, I guess it was just about during the Depression, $25 a week was a fortune. I grabbed it, and I played piano and had a great time. And eventually I had to make a decision as to whether I wanted to play piano, become an illustrator because I had studied art at the L'École des Beaux-Arts in Paris, or possibly stay in radio.
Here they come. Father, if you're a bad girl, Minnie, I'll send you to bed.
By the beginning of the Great Depression, Coney's old railroads had been connected with the New York City subway. It was now a day tripper's paradise. Remaining businesses were forced to offer cheap amusements to survive. Coney Island's days as a high-class resort and hotel destination were over. Dreamland burned down in 1911, and Luna Park was soon taken over by creditors, although it lasted until the 1940s. George C. Tillieu, owner of Steeplechase Park, weathered numerous economic downturns by understanding that people enjoyed being entertained by other people. He offered a very economical 25-ride combination ticket for $0.25, while his competition was charging at least 10 cents or more for most individual attractions. Many of his rides placed people in communal situations where spontaneous humor occurred in a funhouse environment. Reactions from other patrons would be different every time, keeping the experience fresh. A similar mindset populated radio broadcasting. Vaudeville entertainers from Coney's golden era were now working in the new medium. By the summer of 1941, as the news of war in Europe dominated America's headlines, the Great Depression was beginning to wane, and network radio revenue was a record $125 million. That year, Coney's famed boardwalk was extended further east into Manhattan Beach. It now spanned most of the island's 4-mile width. Radio's most topical humorist could be found at Coney on a June day. He was a Bostonian named Fred Allen, and he was being heard each week by roughly 12 million people.
Presenting that ambidextrous antique, ad-libbing andante aphorisms, articulating a la carte axioms, alkalizing anemic absurdities, Allentine's affable Aesop, adversity's amiable askew ball, Fred Allen in person.
Thank you. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You mustn't yell so loud, Andre. You woke me up. You see, now, I generally talk in my sleep through the whole hour. Now you woke me up. I don't know what's up to happen. Well, here it is, June 1st, and what is so rare as a day in June, unless it's a new joke on a radio program. And while we're trying to think up a new joke for this evening, I'll read you the town hall bulletin for tonight. Hodge White, the first grocer to ever put bifocal cellophane on apple pie so that nearsighted customers could see what the lower crust looks like, has a special announcement. Hodge is calling your attention to his little dandy soda siphon, folks. Now, Hodge says people are using soda siphons to make everything but soda these days.
I used to joke about a fellow up in Boston who had a little variety store up there, Hodge White, and we mentioned his name for the fun of it to show him what sort of publicity he could get in the new medium. And it worked out very well. He didn't pay for anything. We just used to mention him every week.
And he would keep you tuned, of course, while you were on the air.
Oh, yes. That time we had the show called Town Hall Tonight. And he used to have our program on every week. 9 to 10 it was. He had some problems in there because his meat slicer used to put static in his radio, so you couldn't buy any meat there from 9 to 10.
And what kind of reaction did he get?
Well, it made a lot of trouble for him. People came all from around the country and out to New England to look at his store and to get his autograph and then disturb him at his work. He saw the power of the medium and didn't want any part of it.
Pedestrian is safe these days, Portland, and that's down in Allen's Alley.
Shall we go?
As the bathtub said to the open faucet, I think I shall run over. Gosh, Portland, isn't it good to get back to Allen's Alley? Say, the senator must be going away. Look, his mules are hitched to the buckboard out back of the house there. Well, let's knock.
Somebody, I say, somebody knock.
Well, Senator Claghorn leaving town?
I got my mules fed, watered, and hitched, son. I'm going to Texas. Dallas, that is.
Well, what's doing in Dallas, Senator?
Next Wednesday is Claghorn Day.
Claghorn Day.
What a celebration.
Big doings, eh?
The Corn Cadets, the biggest hillbilly band in the world, 2,000 boys playing jugs, will be there to welcome me.
What song will they play?
Stew Fly Pie and Texas Panhandle.
Well, tell me, are you taking the train to Dallas, Senator?
No, I'm speeding there for buckboard. I'm leaving Washington.
Yeah?
I'm swinging up through Toronto.
Yes?
Over across Illinois and Iowa into Nebraska.
Yes?
Then I'm veering down through Colorado and Santa Fe.
Yeah?
Taking a left turn at Abilene, I'm coming through Cleburne and Mineral Wells, smack into Dallas.
But why take this roundabout route, Senator?
Son, it's the only way I can get to Dallas without setting foot on that Lincoln Highway.
Well, tell me, Senator, what is your reaction to this Coney Island reopening?
Coney Island is the watering place of the South.
The South?
When I go to Coney Island, I see them Frankforts. Frankfort is the capital of Kentucky.
Yeah.
I stuff myself with that Cracker Jack. Georgia cracker, that is. I taste that yummy pie and ice cream, Texas style.
Pie with ice cream, Texas style?
Pie Alamo, son. When I'm ready to swim, I grab my seersucker water wings and plunge into that southern water.
Southern water at Coney Island?
That's the Atlantic Ocean, son. So long.
When the senator dives in at Coney Island, he probably comes up at South End.
Today, Coney Island consists of 4 neighborhoods running from east to west: Manhattan Beach, Brighton Beach, West Brighton, and Seagate. The western portion of the island has 3 major east-west avenues: Neptune, Mermaid, and Surf, while the eastern portion has 2, Shore Boulevard and Oriental Boulevard, named for the resorts that paved the land. Its main north-south streets of entry are Cropsey Avenue, Stillwell Avenue, Shell Road, Ocean Parkway, and Coney Island Avenue. So, what exactly is a coney? Native inhabitants of the region, the Lenape, called this area the land without shadows for its continuous direct sunlight. The Dutch named it Coney, or Rabbit Island, for its widespread population. The British later anglicized the name to Coney. In 1829, the Gravesend and Coney Island Road and Bridge Company built a road and bridge connecting Coney Island with mainland Long Island. They next built the Coney Island House, the area's first hotel, near present-day Seagate. 5 years later, the 6 towns of Bushwick, Brooklyn, Flatlands, Gravesend, Flatbush, and New Utrecht received a charter to become the City of Brooklyn. By the 1840s, hotel owner and politician Michael Norton was sponsoring a ferry that docked at today's Norton's Point in Seagate. On the beach near a makeshift pier and pavilion, gambling took place beyond the reach of regulation. Prostitution was rampant, and murder wasn't uncommon. Men sold steamed clams, and chowder became the go-to food for sale. After the steamship reduced travel time to just a few hours, wealthy New Yorkers began to eye the eastern end of the island. In the 1870s, resorts named the Manhattan, Brighton, and Oriental Hotel opened. New roads and elevated railways connected New York's growing population. Soon master carousel builder Charles Loof built an amusement ride at Vanderveer's Bathhouse at West 6th Street and Surf Avenue. And in 1876, the centerpiece of the Philadelphia Exhibition, a 300-foot-high observation tower, was moved to Coney. It was the tallest structure in the United States. On Brighton Beach, a racetrack opened in 1879, followed by Rice & Weber's Brighton Beach Casino, where Japanese waitresses in full traditional regalia served drinks to wealthy patrons. In the next decade, James V. Lafferty opened a 7-story hotel in the shape of an elephant at the corner of Surf Avenue and West 12th. The amusement era had officially begun. Paul Boynton opened Sea Lion Park, and George C. Tillieu opened Steeplechase. Coney Island became the top vacation destination in the United States for both wealthy and middle-class Americans looking to experience the wild and never-before-seen.